So today we're going to do the handover video on the Laika Ecovip 4012. We're going to start on the outside and then we're going to move on to the inside. So firstly, coming over to the passenger side, you'll notice you've got your fill-up points. You've got your AdBlue here, which has already been topped up from factory, along with your diesel fill-up point, which is up at the top there. Opening up the passenger door. In the passenger door, you'll notice that you've got your remiss cab blind, which is here, along with your bonnet release catch, which is just here. Now, to operate the remiss cab blind, all you need to do is simply pinch this piece of plastic, release, and then pull down the blind like so. If you lead from the bottom, that'll allow the blind to continue and connect up to the magnetic strip on the side there. It goes for the same at the front. These can be a little bit finicky, so do bear that in mind. So whenever you're, as I say, using the blind, lead it from the bottom because they can get caught at the top. So lead it from the bottom like so, and it'll just allow it to connect into place like that, so it's safe for travel. And as I say, you've got the same on the front of this, as I say. Now, with regards to the remiss cab blinds, and this goes for anything in a motorhome, if it feels like it is being forced, you are probably doing something wrong. So just take a minute just to reevaluate what you're doing. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just pop the bonnet on here and just show you a couple of things underneath there now. With the bonnet open, to be honest, there's not many things that you need to know underneath here, but the main things that you need to know is if you ever jump start in the vehicle. If that is the case, your negative terminal just goes onto here, and your positive terminal is just underneath here, located underneath the cap, which has a little positive sign. Flip that up, and you can see that you have your positive terminal accessible there. They're the main things that you need, but just to point out a couple more things. Over here, you've got your engine oil along with your dipstick below that. You've then got your engine coolant, your brake disc fluid, your power steering fluid, and then finally your washer fluid, which is just there. Coming round to the side of the vehicle, moving away from the bonnet, you'll see that you've got a bit of storage here. Open this up and this will gain you access and show you the double height floor which is used throughout the Laika. You've got a little bit of storage here which is accessible on the inside, but as I say, if you open up this door, it will gain you access to the double height floor which runs throughout the vehicle. You've got your habitation door next, along with your doorstep, and on this side of the vehicle you've your two fridge vents, and below that you've got your gas barbecue point, which is just onto there. When using the gas, whilst we're on the topic, you need to make sure that when travelling your gas is turned off at the bottles, and then when you're on site you can turn your gas on and feed it through here if you wanted to use a barbecue, and I'll show you where they're located on the other side of the vehicle. Now, with your fridge vents being on this side of the vehicle, this is clearly where the fridge will pull all of its air from. Now, if it's a very hot day and the sun's beating down on this side of the vehicle, obviously it's going to mean that the fridge isn't working as efficiently. So with that in mind, just turn the vehicle around or keep this in shade just to allow that fridge to work a little bit more efficiently. You can get winter covers for these as well, should you want to, which just clip on during storage and the colder climate. Moving on, you've then got your cassette toilet, which I'll open up for you now. With the locker door open, as you see, you can gain access to the cassette. This is dead easy to use. The main thing that before removing you need to make sure is that the blade on the toilet is closed. If the blade is open, what will happen is you'll go to remove this and it will feel like it's getting jammed. What customers have done in the past is they'll continue to pull that and subsequently break the system. So please make sure that the blade on the toilet is closed before removing. Push up on the little handle here and slide out. It should slide out in one fluid motion like so. If it ever feels like it's being trapped, you are doing something wrong. All you need to do at this point is pull it out, and this is your cassette. Now, to empty this, it's really simple. All you need to do is pull out the little funnel, unscrew the cap, and then using the little orange button on the back, click that in, and that will release an internal vacuum. That will allow all the contents to flow out in one steady slurry, so it's not getting any splashback or anything. And once you've done that, you can put a bit of water in the top here and just swill out this unit and just rinse again using the little button. You'll notice another little lever here, orange lever, which will turn. This should always remain in this position. You never need to move this or anything. It should always remain in this position, so don't worry about that. This is in essence what will make contact with the blade, which allow it to close and open. So make sure that it's like that always, so you'll never need to to move it. Finally as well, before moving on, in the cap here, if you wanted to put your blue fluid in this, you can do that by just putting it in the cap there, top cap, and that will go straight into the cassette. When done, fold the funnel back in, lift up the cassette and line it up like so. It'll just connect into place by the little handle into that piece there. Moving to the back of the vehicle, you can see you've got your big garage here, along with an awning, which is a teardrop awning on the side. Now what you will need is you'll need a little awning pole here, which is in the back as you can see, which will connect up to the awning and then allow you to wind it out to a point that you can reach it. What I'll do is I'll send you a separate video just showing you how to use the awning. It's dead simple and easy. Whilst we're in the back here, as I say, you can see that you've got your rails either side, which are really useful for your tie down points, and you have got some additional cushions for when you want to put them on the inside of the lounge, depending on the colour scheme you want to go for. You have got also your carpets, as you can see. In the back here you can see that you've got a vent here for heating, so this is fully heated and insulated, along with a drain down point, providing you're putting anything wet in here. Here you'll notice you've got a 230 volt socket, along with a little switch for a light, which is internal, and then finally a button. This is for your wastewater drain down point. Now you have three main drain down points in the vehicle. One's your wastewater, one's your fresh, and one's your boiler. Your fresh and your drain down point for your boiler are internal to the van, and your wastewater, along with your wastewater rather, and your wastewater is all electric. All you need to do is click that button and that will dump all the wastewater over a grid. So it's dead simple and dead easy. And as a rule of thumb with your drain down points, you can leave them open, because as you're travelling home, all that water is going to get out of the vehicle due to the vibrations on the road. Just make sure you dump the vast majority on site where it does indicate that you need to. Onto the other side, did forget to mention you've got your camera up at the top there, and then you've got another smaller access door into the garage here if you want to ever load anything in. You have got two boxes here as well. If you open that up, you've got a bit of storage in this one, which accesses the double height floor, and then with that one in the back you've got operates your pump, so access to your pump, which you don't need, that is just for the technicians. Moving on from the garage area, you can see that you've got your fill up point for your water. This is for your fresh water. So when you're on site, all you need to do is unscrew this and get a food grade hose pipe, which can go straight into there. That will fill the tank up, and then once it's full, it'll start overflowing and spurting out. Once you've done that, you've filled your tank, and you can just put your cap back on. Dead simple. Moving on, you've then got your external shower point, which using a bayonet fitting, which will be attached to the shower, can connect into here. You turn it to lock it in place. You've got the option of having it hot or cold, depending on what your preference is. And obviously that will only work once your pump is on the inside of the vehicle, which I'll show you later on. Below this you've got your gas locker, and this is where your 2 gas bottles are stored. Please make sure, as I mentioned before, that your gas bottles are turned off at the bottom when travelling. In here currently you've just got all your bits for the vehicle, like your book packs and everything, but that is where they're all stored. You've then got your Trima heating, which is just here. This is in essence your chimney or your flue. It does get very hot from the underside, so do be careful. Don't hang anything on there because it could stain and obviously burn you, so be careful of that. Finally, on the final little bit of the vehicle, as I say, you've more storage and more access points to the double height floor. Now in here houses a couple more bits, as you can see. It houses your fuses, which are all here, along with your drain down point for your boiler system. As I mentioned, you've 3 drain down points. We've done your wastewater. This is your boiler drain down. Your boiler drain down point is very, very important, and in my opinion probably the most important one in the vehicle. You need to make sure that your boiler is always drained down when not using the vehicle. Now if I just move the light here, you can see that this little drain down point is a little bit different to the ones that you typically find. This reacts to temperature, and it's a frost protection valve. So in essence, if the vehicle gets to a certain temperature, or below a certain temperature rather, this will automatically drain the boiler of water. Now you should always get into the habit of draining it down. Don't rely upon that system, but it has got a fail-safe built in. Now to seal the system, because at the moment it's open with the blue button out and the diamond with the little black nib in the up position, to close it, turn the diamond like so, and you can see the black nib on the inside has gone in, and then push that button in like so, and that seals the chamber and the unit so you can use your boiler. You only do that obviously when you're using the vehicle. Now if you're draining it down, all you need to do, just to give you an example, is turn that, the black little nib comes up in the middle of the triangle, and you can see that button does pop out. Now for example, if you've not used the vehicle in a while, or you're using the vehicle in a very, very cold climate, what might happen is you'll go to turn this triangle, you know, to close the system, and you'll press this button in. You'll try and press it in and it'll keep on pinging out. The reason for that is this unit reacts to temperature, and if it's below a certain temperature, it's not going to allow you to heat this, push this button in, because as I say, it's a fail-safe and it's designed for that, to ensure you don't get any frozen water. Now with that in mind, if that is the case, you need to go into your vehicle and start running your heating. Your heating can be run without water, so do bear that in mind, but run your heating, and using these little vents here, this will heat this chamber up. Leave it for about 30 minutes or so, and that will heat this area up and allow you to push that button in so it's all good to use. So that way you can use it safely without running the risk of any water being drained down. And as I say, once you have finished, simply press that and leave it open. Now moving to the inside of the vehicle. As you open the door, you can see that just above the door you have your main control panel along with your heating panel. To operate this panel, it's really, really simple. As you can see, it is turned on and is completely operational. In the middle, it shows you your time, and then either side it'll show you your habitation battery, which is full, along with an indication of your water. Now below your power on button, if you click this little button here, this will show you more in depth at what your the habitation and the vehicle battery is reading. Your vehicle battery is this top one here, as indicated by the little front of the vehicle, and your habitation battery is this first one here, as indicated by the little back of the motorhome in the little battery, and that will show you your level. Below this button is the water, and again it will show you your fresh water, which is this first one here, along with your wastewater level, which is the top one. And as I say, that'll show you your level, just to make sure that you've got, at the moment we've no readings because we've nothing in at the vehicle, but then this will allow you to understand how much you've got left, especially if you're wild camping and things like that. Moving up, you've then got your button for your lights. So if you click that, that will turn on and off the lights. Whilst on the topic of the lights, you have got all your light buttons here, so if you click that, they will turn on your porch lights and also your underfloor lights. Below that, you have a little button for your pump, which if you click that, will turn and activate the pump on. Now I'm not going to turn that on because we've no water in the system, but how you use the pump is once you're on site and you've filled the water up, you can click that pump and then go to your tap. Go to all of your taps in the vehicle, especially your kitchen tap. Don't forget your shower. Turn it on and turn it to hot. What that'll start doing is it'll start pulling water from the fresh water tank into the boiler and then out of the tap. When it's running steadily, you know that you've primed your system for your hot water, and once you've done that, flick it over to cooled and do the exact same again on all your taps. Once it's running steadily, you've primed your system and you can leave your pump on. Now only leave your pump on providing you've got water in the system. You should only be doing this when you've got water in the system because you don't want to burn it out, but providing you have, leave it on. On each of your taps you have a little micro switch which will activate and deactivate the pump whenever you need it, similar to how it would work at home. So do bear that in mind. The reason I tell you to do it on hot first is it'll pull water through the boiler system and keep that boiler filled up with water. So once you turn your heating on, because there's already water in the system, if you give that time to obviously heat up, by the time you want hot water, it will be up to temperature. So it's worth mentioning, obviously the boiler won't give you instant hot water. So if you do this, turn your heating on, which I'll show you in a minute, for your hot water, by the time you want it, it's going to be nice and warm and ready for you. Coming back over to the panel, below that little pump button, you can see that you've got another light button that is for your door light on the outside of the vehicle. And then you have a little sign here which says aux. Click that, stands for auxiliary, and that activates everything 12 volt in the vehicle. So you'll notice you've got a couple USBs up here. There's some USBs in the back as well. They're dotted all over the place. If you click that button, that will activate them, for an example. Now moving on to the other control panel. This is your Trima heating control panel. It's a really good system. This is a combi boiler, which will allow you to run the heating and the heating for your vehicle and the heating for your water as well, all from one panel. So turn it on by holding it and then click the button to select through the options. Now everything below the line is what you want to select. The first option, as you can see, it's just blinking at us because I'm hovering it over it. Click that in and you've got the option of your vehicle temperature. You can take this all the way up to 30 degrees if you wanted, as you can see. Using the back sign, you've then got the option for the water temperature. You can run it off Eco, Hot or Boost. Eco is approximately 40 degrees, so you're going to be using that when you're having a shower. Hot is approximately 70 degrees, so you'll be using that when you're washing up and things. And Boost is a combination of everything. Basically, what it's going to do is it's going to concentrate on heating the water. So instead of heating the actual vehicle itself, it'll concentrate on heating the water itself and getting it up to temperature very quickly. It's worth noting though, that will only work when you've done that for about half an hour or so. Now, moving through the options, you've then got your fuel. Your fuel's really important because this will decide on what you use to fuel the heating. You can either use gas, Mix 1, which is a mixture of gas and 1 kilowatt electric, Mix 2, which is a mixture of gas and 2 kilowatt electric, EL1, which is 1 kilowatt electric, or EL2, which is 2 kilowatt electric. So when you're on site, you know, most definitely you're going to be using the EL2. 2 kilowatt electric. Certain sites may limit you to EL1. If that is the case, it is going to struggle heating a vehicle of this size with 1 kilowatt electric. So if that is the case, I advise putting on Mix 1. A lot of customers do tend to start off with the Mix 2 because it's a mixture of gas and 2 kilowatt electric, because it's always going to get it up to temperature really quickly. So you've got that option there. And then when you're wild camping, you'll run it, of course, off your gas. Coming back, you've then got your vent option, or your fan speed. Now at the moment, because I've not got anything selected, it's only going to give me the option of vent, which will circulate the air which is in the vehicle. But as I say, once you've got everything selected, it'll give you the option of Eco or Boost. It'll give you the option of high or boost, depending on the intensity of the fan you want. And obviously that boost works the exact same as it would with the water, but instead of heating the water this time, it'll concentrate on heating the actual vehicle itself. So coming back below, you have got the option of a timer, so you can set a timer for when you want the heating to kick in, which is nice. So if you're away from the vehicle, it can begin. You've then got the option of your time, so you can change the time on here. And then next, you've finally got your settings. Within your settings, there are not many things that you need to know, but the main thing that you need to know is your reset button. Your reset will allow you to obviously reset the program and reuse it. Now, you'll only need to reset the panel if you ever get an error code. Now, you'll get an error code, for example, if you've got a fuel selected that you haven't got. So say, for example, you're trying to fuel the van or trying to heat the vehicle using gas, but you've no gas to the vehicle. You'll get an error code on here, because naturally it's trying to heat the vehicle with something that it's not got. If you get an error code, you need to go to that reset button. You need to click it. It'll then initialize and reprogram it. You then need to wait 20 minutes, and once you've done that, the system will be reset and ready to use. But obviously try and get out the habit of doing that. Make sure that you select the fuel that you've got. Moving away from the panel, you're then into your lounge. You've got your forward facing seats here with the seat belts, which are just around like so. If you're wanting to seat someone there, you have got a little flip up point there which will drop down so your feet can sit there. This table will of course swivel and move, so if you want to slide it about and give you a bit more space, you can do. Obviously it gives you a bit more access into the cab as it is at the moment. And then above that, you'll notice you've got a drop down bed. Attached to the drop down bed, you have got various bits of storage. But to activate this, all you need to do is turn the panel on, make sure you've got electric to the vehicle or some sort of fuel, and then press this. Press that button until it stops. It'll stop automatically, this bed, which is dead handy, and then you get 2 ladders up there and you're good to go. Now with your bed, you can keep all your bedding on. Just with your pillows, I personally recommend sticking them at the front, storing them in them cupboards probably, but everything else is good to go. Your ladders are actually just underneath here. Taking it up, dead simple as well. Click that button. As you can see, it just slides up. Really easy. And then we'll stop in position once it's up at the top. Now we're in the kitchen now. You can see you've got your fridge here, and above that you have got a bit of storage there. Nice little bit of storage. Up there you have got a solar charge regulator. That's for your solar panel, which is fitted to the vehicle. You don't need to do anything with the solar panel, leave it as it is, but that will just make sure that the charge is going into the vehicle and regulate that. As I say, below is your fridge. Your fridge is here and your freezer's just above that. Now please make sure that when you are putting things in the fridge, you're just mindful about what you're putting in. This fridge obviously doesn't pull as much power naturally as a normal domestic fridge rather. So with that in mind, if you want cold things to be in the fridge, put cold things in, and if you want frozen things to be in the freezer, put frozen things in. Does a very good job at maintaining the temperature of things, that's why. Now to use this, it's really simple. All you need to do is press this button or hold it in, and that will turn the fridge on. You've then got a few options. You've got the temperature up at the top. You've then got the option of your fuel, and then you can select between the brightness of the screen and a few settings like so. Now to select through the options, click this button, and as you can see, you can flick through the options like so. So firstly, your your fridge temperature, you can alter that. Click in to select. Click again to move it again. The most important one is your fuel. First, you've got your 12-volt leisure battery, so you can run it off the leisure battery. You've got your gas, which is the little flame symbol, or you can run it off your 230-volt electric, which is the little plug icon. Personally, I'd recommend keeping it on auto because that will automatically assign whatever fuel you've got to power the fridge. One thing to mention though is when you are travelling, always put it on the 12 volt. It should automatically send it over to that. So if I start the engine, it'll send it over to that 12 volt. But a lot of people think when they're wild camping, instead of using the gas, they can simply use the 12 volt leisure battery. However, that isn't the case. If that was the case, you'd simply drain the vehicle of all of its power because it draws so much power. It requires a lot. So with that in mind, you need to run the fridge only off gas when wild camping. The only time it's run off the leisure battery is when you're travelling, because you've got a built-in alternator with this vehicle which will ultimately send power to this to power the fridge. Going through again, as I say, keep it on auto if I was you. You've then got the option of the colour, the brightness of the screen, and then options of venting and circulating the air as well. To turn this off, all you need to do, hold the button in, and as signalled by the little beep, it's turned off. Flipping around back into the kitchen area, we've discussed about priming your system. In here you've got a good bit of storage here, along with underneath the oven and grill. Your oven and grill, it's worth mentioning, is all gas at the top there. Sorry, your hob rather, and your oven and grill is just below that, with a little igniter switch, like so. At the top here, a bit more storage as well, and below that you have got an extractor fan with this vehicle, along with a socket and a few switches for lights. Moving into the back, you've got your shower area. Not too much to know about the shower. It works like any normal shower. As I say, you just need to prime that system as discussed. And using the door, if I hold that, you can pull that round and connect it into the side here. With the door open and divided, as you can see, it divides the space, which works really well. You have also got a dividing door here, so for example, if the people at the front wanted to use the toilet, they could do without disturbing the people in the back bedroom. I've just lifted up the toilet because, as I said, the most important thing with this is the blade on the toilet. Now where that is located is just underneath, and it's just operated by this little arm here. That silver arm will close and open the cassette. Pull it towards you, that will open the cassette. Push it away, that will close the cassette. When in use, what you need to do is open the cassette so all the waste will drop down into the cassette. If I just pull this down, you'll notice that you have got a blue button on the top there which will activate your flush. So once all the waste has gone down into the cassette, press that button and that will flush the entire system and make sure that it's all nice and clean. Once you've done that, please make sure that your blade is then closed. You do that for two reasons. One, it gets you in the habit of closing the cassette so that every time you remove it, it's closed and you don't run into that issue of it breaking. But most importantly too, is it does stop all the odours escaping, so it just makes it a little bit nicer and a little bit more cleaner. So once you've done that, you are good to go. It is worth mentioning, coming back up to the pump, to the flush. Your flush will need the pump to be on to activate it, so bear that in mind. And you will get a red light on here somewhere just to indicate once the cassette's full, just to show you when you need to empty it. Whilst we're here as well, on all your windows you have got the option of opening them like so you can push out. It's dead easy and dead simple. You have got the option of putting them on venting as well, just to allow a bit of air through and a bit of air circulation. However, if you are doing that, please make sure that you do of course shut them when travelling, and that goes through for your vents as well at the top, your roof lights and things. On here you've got fly screens and blackout blinds as well, and then your kitchen is just there, your wash basin is just there. Now before going into the bedroom area, you can see that you've got storage each side, so you've storage above and then hanging space at the back. But just before you walk into the bedroom area, you'll notice you've got another panel in the floor. I did forget to mention in the lounge you've 3 there as well, some are for your leisure batteries, but then the last one is for your actual storage. But in the back here, if you lift this panel up, like so, chuck that out of the way, it will gain you access to a bit of storage. You'll notice there's a second panel. If you lift that up, this will gain you access to your fresh water, which is here. Now as I've mentioned, you've got 3 direct drying down points. We've shown you the wastewater which is in the back. Your boiler is just in the side of the vehicle in the double height floor, and your fresh water is located in the floor here, in the bedroom area. It's dead easy and dead simple to empty this. All you need to do is using this black lever or black nib, turn that, and that will drain the system of water. Now you've got a little lug in here. Now when you drain the or turn this knob and it hits that lug, you can leave it at that point if you wanted, and this will drain the entire system down to 20 litres. Now this water tank usually will take about 120 litres, so if you wanted you can drain 100 litres and remain 20 in there. Manufacturers say if you are driving with water, due to weight, distribution and payload, travel with only 20 litres, so it's a quick drain down point. So if you're moving off site, you're not sure whether you're going to get any water, you can do that. However, if you're wanting to drain down the entire thing, say for example you're done with your campsite and you're going home now, carry on past that lug, you'll hear a little click. Don't know whether you heard that, but it'll allow you to carry on draining the system down, and will drain down the entire thing. Now as I mentioned, on site you'll have a massive grid that you drive over to dump all the water. Dump the majority on the site and then leave that open, because as you're travelling home, all the water will vibrate and get out the vehicle. So that concludes the handover video on the Laika Ecovip 4012. I hope you enjoyed.